I just want y'all to know the man who's the emergency third quarterback, the man who's probably not going to get to play this year, you know what he does? Looking fresh, goes up to the rookie kicker, daps him up, and say, guess what? You going to be all right.
The Cleveland Browns did it again. They had the game in their hands, the comeback lined up, and the momentum ready to swing their way. And then in the blink of an eye, it all slipped through their fingers. First came the missed extra point that shifted the entire rhythm of the game. One point that seemed small at the time, but would go on to haunt them. Then came the game-winning field goal attempt, one that never even had a chance. It went wide, the crowd groaned, and you could almost feel the heartbreak settle in before the ball even touched the ground.
Rookie kicker. Rookie kicker. Hey, you know what, Schmitty? I'm not blaming you, kid. You never even kicked in a game before. Cost us a game. Bad news is you're 0-1. You blew a golden opportunity to start 1-0. Good news is the Browns are not as bad as everybody thinks. All right? Now, it's going to take a while. I'm sick. I'll be honest. I'm sick. But we'll get through it. We'll be all right. Schmidt happens.
And just to make sure the pain was complete, the final play unraveled in the worst possible way. Joe Flacco delivered a pass that hit his receiver square in the hands, only for the ball to bounce like a glitch in a video game and land safely in the arms of the defense. Game over. Another Browns disaster stamped into history. At the center of it all was the rookie kicker. His NFL debut turned into the kind of nightmare that can define and sometimes even end a career before it really starts. He missed a routine extra point.
In a game like Sunday's against the Bengals, it's very easy to point fingers and place blame. That doesn't change the outcome. A loss is still a loss, but the reality is this 1-point game had 4 points left off the board due to missed kicks from Andre Schmidt.
He missed a 36-yard field goal that could have sealed the win. By the time he walked off the field, the look on his face said it all. He looked like a man who had aged a decade in just 10 minutes.
Watch the film, see what really went wrong. I mean, that's kind of just what it felt like. I forget about it and give myself 24 hours, analyze what happened, and then move on.
The cameras caught every second. Fans at home exploded online. Cut him, bench him. How do the Browns always find new ways to lose? The rookie became the face of the collapse, and it seemed like no one in that stadium wanted to stand anywhere near him. But then something happened that nobody expected. While veterans shook their heads and coaches buried their faces in play sheets, one player quietly walked straight toward the kicker. It wasn't Myles Garrett, the emotional anchor of the defense. It wasn't Joe Flacco, the 38-year-old veteran quarterback who had just turned back the clock and nearly carried the team to victory.
The consistent thing that, a lot of the haters don't want to point out with Shedeur is that the locker room loves him. The people keep saying the locker room loves him. They keep saying he's such a positive, light guy. So how about I uplift you and uplift the rookie team? Man, go ahead. Yeah.
It was Shedeur Sanders, the rookie quarterback, the emergency third-string guy who wasn't even dressed to play, the player nobody expected to make headlines that night. Shedeur didn't hesitate. He didn't care about the cameras or the noise. He simply walked up to the kicker, dapped him up, looked him in the eye, and said, "You're gonna be good." No big speech.
Somebody said no. Like a true leader, Shedeur went to check on him and saw the same thing at the Colorado after the loss, how you keep the team together. Then somebody also stated, no, Shedeur is a good teammate. Then somebody said, looks to me he's supporting his teammate. And then somebody said, he will be the quarterback before the season ends. Flacco is done unless they run plays or assist Gabriel, which they won't, as the coach runs his playbook regardless, so Sanders will be the QB by mid-season.
No dramatic gestures, just a calm, steady word of reassurance when everything around them was spiraling out of control. And somehow, that 15-second interaction told you more about who Shedeur Sanders is than any throw he could have made on the field.
Of the home opener, and he turned the ball over in preseason. But Shedeur Sanders don't turn the ball over. Even though he was sacked 5 times in the preseason, never turned the ball over. Actually, he had a good preseason game against the Carolina Panthers where he threw for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over.
The clip went viral instantly. Not because of what he said, but because of who he is and the situation he's in. Think about it. Shedeur isn't anywhere close to starting right now. He's the developmental quarterback, the one buried on the depth chart, the guy most people expect to sit quietly, learn from the sidelines, and wait his turn. But in that moment, when the stadium was buzzing with frustration, when fans were booing, and when a teammate looked ready to collapse under the weight of failure, Shedeur was the one who stayed calm, composed, and in control. That's not normal for a rookie, that's leadership. And this is why the moment mattered. Leadership is about timing. It's not about stats, it's not about highlight reels, and it's not about how many touchdowns you can throw in preseason. It's about stepping up when everyone else falls apart. And that's exactly what Shedeur did. While veterans were silent, while coaches struggled for words, while fans called for blood online, Shedeur showed poise. And in that poise, people saw something more than just potential. They saw a future franchise quarterback. Compare it to the Browns' identity over the years. This is a team loaded with talent on paper, but allergic to winning when it matters most. Every season, the story feels the same. They bring in stars, they load up with hype, they promise a different result, and when the lights get bright, when the margin is razor thin, when it's time to prove the hype was real, they collapse. That collapse has turned into a culture. Fans don't just expect losses anymore, they expect the most ridiculous, heartbreaking, head-shaking ways to lose imaginable. And year after year, the Browns deliver exactly that. That's why Shedeur's moment was so powerful. In a locker room used to chaos, in a franchise defined by meltdowns, he showed the exact opposite. Calm, stability, composure. The kind of presence you can build a future around. While Kevin Stefanski stood at the podium delivering a post-game speech that sounded like the same recycled phrases fans have heard for years, Shedeur was already doing what leaders do. He wasn't making excuses. He wasn't pointing fingers. He was building trust, one handshake at a time. That's why Shedeur's presence is so important. Fans are scared the Browns will ruin him, just like they've ruined so many others before him. And yet, in his very first week, he's already showing signs that he won't be shaken by the chaos around him. He looked calm. He looked steady. He looked like a player raised for this exact moment. And maybe that's because he has been. From high school to college, Shedeur has been surrounded by expectations, noise, and pressure. He's had to prove himself at every level, often in his father's shadow, and yet every time he's stepped up with composure. That kind of upbringing doesn't just teach you how to play, it teaches you how to lead. The Browns still lost, and they lost ugly. Joe Flacco played like a veteran from another era, making sharp reads and giving the team every chance to win. Myles Garrett wrecked plays at the line of scrimmage. The defense held its own, but when the pressure hit its peak, Cleveland did what it always does. They unraveled, missed kicks, dropped passes, turnovers in the worst moments possible. Fans at home didn't just watch a loss, they watched the same script play out again. And yet, inside that disaster, something shifted. Because while the Browns found new ways to collapse, Shedeur Sanders found a way to stand tall. He didn't need to throw a pass. He didn't need to score a touchdown. All he needed was 15 seconds to show he was different. And in those 15 seconds, he proved something you can't measure with stats. He proved he has the leadership Cleveland has been starving for. The Browns may still find ways to lose this season. They may still break their fans' hearts in ways only Cleveland can. But if there's one thing to take away from that night, it's this. The future might already be here. And his name is Shedeur Sanders. So the question is, do you think that single moment proved Shedeur Sanders is the Browns' future leader, or was it just a viral clip that will fade away with time? Drop a comment, hit like if you've ever felt the pain of a Browns collapse, and subscribe, because if this is what week 1 looks like, you can bet the rest of this season is only going to get crazier.